Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita. Woofer blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is a dope as rhyme say. I run a game like a cheater, I'm born like.
So I don't know if I've ever been able to say I was there when. I was there when that happened. I don't know if I've ever been present at a piece of history. But I think it happened to me this past weekend just gone by. Now, let me back up a little bit. You and I have known each other for a while. We can be open. We can be honest about this sort of thing. It's been a bitch of a month or so. I don't mean to bore you with my problems. But it's been difficult. It's been difficult. There's been very little sleep. There's been a lot of time spent looking for my missing dog. There's been a tremendous amount of work that had to be done. And no result. No finding my puppy Homer yet. I hold out hope. But it's been one thing after another. That's sort of the tip of the iceberg as well. And I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but one of those months, and you've had it, we've all had it, where you just go, oh, and the hits keep on coming. Some people have had years like that. Some people have had lifetimes like that. But I was having one of those months. Needed a reason to smile. And when I got an opportunity to go see the New York Mets play the San Diego Padres, I was all in. But here's the thing. My Mets, who I think were in second place up till that point, dropped 2 games against the last place Padres. The Mets imitated my life by being able to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in fine fashion in 2 straight games, and I went on the 3rd day. But something happened in California. Something happened in San Diego. And I hate crowds, and I hate people, and I hate loud, enclosed, hot, sweaty places. But I was really excited to join 1,500 other Mets fans, the 7-line army, we call ourselves, from around the country that had descended upon San Diego the weekend that I was there for work, the weekend that I had planned to go see the Mets play. And there was something about it. There was something about being among people that were there for a common cause because of something they loved. And you know what? Things are looking pretty good now, but the Mets are not an easy team to love. You don't choose the Mets. The Mets choose you. It becomes a part of you. And you can't do anything about it. You're stuck with it. But it makes you instantly relate to everybody else who's a Mets fan because you know it's a hard-won thing. And so being gathered in a room of 1,500 people, you feel instantly at home. You feel instantly among friends in that situation. Strangers made me feel like I was among friends in a time when I needed it. One of the best days of my life. We all walked down to Petco Park, beautiful Petco Park in San Diego, through the streets of San Diego, all dressed in orange and blue, being really cool to the people around us, and the people around us were being really cool back to us. It was a good time, sunny day, good vibe. And we get to the stadium. And all of a sudden, it doesn't matter so much that my Mets dropped 2 games. My second place Mets dropped 2 games against against the last place Padres. But what happened next allowed me to say I was there when. And I've never been able to say that before. I'll talk about the healing power of the New York Mets in just a little bit. Thanks for hanging out.
Say ho, ho, say ho, ho, ho. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Hot 1, hot 2, hot 3, hot AZ from your radio live and uncut. Tonight, you're cutting loose and having fun. 'Cause that's my job, and my job's about to get done. Yeah.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Yeah, I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace and that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, but yo, there's gotta be a better way. Yeah, and you do what they told ya. Company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over. Yeah, I do.
So like I was saying, I don't know if you've ever been there when. I don't know if you've ever had one of those stories where you can go like, I was there when this happened. I was there. I saw it happen. I saw it happen with my own 2 eyes. A little piece of history that went down in front of you. And yeah, that's never happened to me. But I think I can say that now after this weekend. Me and 1,500 other Mets fans in California marching through the streets. The 7-line army. To Petco Park. To watch our Mets play San Diego Padres. They dropped 2 games against the last place Padres. Which is crazy. Because they were in second. And it came at a time when I needed a win. And I know it's not my win, it's the Mets' win, but I could have really used a win. So I didn't go into the situation optimistically, but all that faded away as I was joined by people like me who have long suffered being a fan of the New York Mets. And it's great when it's great. And when it's not, you are bonded in your misery. But we were bonded in our love of this team as we made our way into the stadium. And I get my seat. I didn't know a crew of Mets fans were going to descend upon the ballpark. But they did. I was sat in a different section, though. So I'm like there by myself. The lone Mets fan. An entire section of people that are really excited that the Padres have won 2 in a row. Looking to make it a winning streak. I think you win 1, that's a win. You win 2, that's 2 in a row. 3, that counts as a winning streak, and you are now unstoppable, my friend. And really early on in the game, Big Sexy, Bartolo Colon, Big Bart, comes up to bat. Now, Bartolo Colon, this is a guy that I admire a lot. This is a guy who has been playing for the better part of 20 years in the major leagues. And he used to be this guy that could really throw the heat. But he's almost 43 years old now. So he's not going to be throwing like he was when he was 23. And he's redesigned himself as a pitcher. He's this guy that went from being a dude with a cannon that people are afraid of to being a guy that has laser-like precision. That is a strategic pitcher as opposed to a violent natural force to be reckoned with. And he's equally as intimidating to a batter in either capacity. But his at-bats are known more for their comedic value than anything else. Known more for their comedic value than anything else. And I think that when he started being more of a closer as opposed to a starting pitcher, well, that robbed us of Bartolo Colon at bats. And that was a little comic relief that I think we could all use. This is a guy that is, let's be real here, not in the greatest of shape. A little heavier than most people that call themselves athletes are. Takes big swings. A lot of the time, not even close. Awkward and hilarious. He's even ended up on his butt a couple of times. But there I am. Desperate. Needing some sort of silver lining. Needing some sort of ray of hope. And Cologne comes up for his at-bat. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I need a laugh. This will be good. Launches a 2-run shot off of a 90-mile-an-hour fastball against Padres righty James Shields. First home run in his entire career. His first home run came at 42 years, 349 days, making him the oldest player to hit his first career homer. Cologne says, I wasn't expecting something like this to happen. My heart was beating a lot. And today's a day I'm never going to forget. His run around the bases, 30 seconds. And to see the other New York Mets erupt in the dugout as he completed rounding the bases. Teammates clearing out of the dugout. Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Requested items from Cologne's at bat. He said he's going to keep the ball on the bat, though. And when that happened, the clouds lifted. It was a beautiful sunny day, but I'd had something gray and stormy over my head for a very long time. All that which plagued me before is still there. But it's worth noting that his unlikely feat, Bartolo Colon's unlikely feat, hitting his first career homer at the age of 42, has been immortalized in the form of a special Topps baseball card, which reads something I'll never forget. The impossible becomes possible.
10 with puppies in my face, and Dad gotta join the human race. Time for a yawn and a stretch and a walk, you see. They know my aura at the restaurant across the street.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah, give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey,
so if you're like a lot of people I know, you are looking at your options for a possible occupant for the White House starting in year 2017. And you're going, I don't like any of this. If you're like me, you weren't overly thrilled with our choices when there was this clown car-esque aspect to the election. It seemed like literally everybody was running. And you still looked at the field of candidates and you went, oh, God, I still can't push them all together and make one good one. Not only do I not like anybody, my choices genuinely scare me. Now, look, I'm not here to say the way you feel about your candidate of choice is right or wrong. But I do know a lot of people are looking at this upcoming election and going, all right, well, here's the thing. If things go the way I think they're going to go, that'll be a day where I stay home and reorganize my sock drawer. Because none of these people mean anything to me. In fact, some of them, if not all of them, scare me. And you and I are going to talk about how it is totally understandable that you want to stay home, that you want to organize your sock drawer, that you want to go fishing on Election Day. But you and I are going to talk about why I think it is incredibly important that, especially if you feel disenfranchised, if you feel like you have no one there that is a voice for you or an advocate for you, it is especially important that you get out and you vote. Why? We'll get into it in a little bit. And also, Funkhauser, have you ever been so sort of perturbed by anything, scared that you've wet yourself? Like, have you ever?
No, I have a good control of my bladders. I mean,
what about when you were a kid? Like, really scared?
No.
Yeah. See, I don't recall ever losing control of the.
I might do it in this show because I already have to pee.
Right, but I mean, like,
not because I'm
never
scared,
out of
though.
fear, right? Yeah. I've never been so scared I've flooded my own basement, so to speak. Yeah, that is the defense that a kid is using for, well, an incident that happened on a zip line in Vegas. And
oh no.
Yeah. We'll get into it a little bit. Let's do the news, Funkhauser. Let's take a look at the events of
This
the day.
is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser. Barry Funkhauser.
What?
Barry Funkhauser. Barry Funkhauser.
My favorite's the last one.
Yeah, me too. You must have something to say. How are you? What's been going on? Everything okay?
Programming note, first off.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on the AD on the Radio Show, Cage the Elephant.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking to, I believe, Brad Schultz from Cage the Elephant. Their
That's
guitar
a band.
player.
They have things out there.
It's one of the biggest bands going at the moment and one of the best live bands going. And a band that I really like seeing because they have little to no regard for their own personal health and safety when it comes to your entertainment value. They're willing to bleed for you in an Iggy Pop-esque sort of way, and that is probably going to be what we talk to them about. Looking forward to that one. Good programming note, Funkhauser. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, what else? What else is going on?
Oh, well, there's a lot of news here. I guess. Is El Nino bothering you down there? El Nino's bothering us up here. It's very weathery today.
You mean the Nino?
Yeah.
Can you pull up that audio for the show later?
Yeah, later, but... Oh! El Nino might be here now. Oh! Here he is to almost rain on us, but not rain at all.
No. Can you pull up the Chris Farley?
Oh,
El
you want
Nino?
that? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, definitely want that.
I am the Nino.
That is... Yo soy El Nino. Go on.
Well, Bono turns 56 years old today.
Is that it?
The guy from U2. Some of you don't know that band if they're new.
I don't know. I look at how long that band has been humongous for, and I don't know. I
56,
assumed
yeah,
he was
that seems
older.
young.
It does seem young. I mean, I look at him, and he doesn't look, older than 56, or I don't know what he looks like. He looks like Bono.
It's the yellow glasses. Keeps you young.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But he turns 56 today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that totally makes sense. Because, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Look. A recording of Bono's friend singing happy birthday to him has automatically been downloaded to my iTunes playlist. There you go. I didn't ask for that. How strange that it's there. Stupid. That was cheap. I'm sorry. Move right along.
UPS is adding drone delivery.
Right. As soon as they can find a drone that they can fit those little brown shorts on.
Uh-oh. I'm getting a package. Look out! Oh, I caught it.
Yeah. So anticlimactic that there's no explosion after that. How would you feel? I mean, I guess you'll know soon enough. You'll know soon enough how you feel when a drone shows up with a package. Does Amazon have drones? Like, is that a thing yet, or am I making this up?
They were trying. I don't know if they got off the ground or not. Didn't even mean that one.
Bazinga, that's why we get paid the medium dollars. Go on, what else?
I disavow, okay?
A statue of Hitler praying sold for $17.2 million.
Seems crazy, I know. $17.2 million. Sorry, $17.2 million for a statue of Hitler praying. But here's what you got to bear in mind. Anytime any sort of like Hitler memorabilia sells, usually it goes for just the Reich price. He said, completely stepping on the punchline. It's hard to say Reich price. Try it.
I leave that to you.
Can we rewind that one?
Oh, you want to go back?
Yeah.
Let me see if I still have the button. And, oh, here's the rewind button.
Now, what about that? What about that? Too far. What about that statue of Hitler?
Oh, a statue of Hitler praying sold for $17.2 million.
Yeah, well, I know. Seems expensive, but I would imagine that anytime any sort of Hitler memorabilia sells, it always goes for just the Reich price.
Yeah.
I feel vindicated.
Let's save it.
Go on.
El Nino. All the tropical storms must bow before El Nino. Yo soy El Nino. For those of you who don't habla español, El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
So good. What else?
Twitter is blocking U.S. intelligence agencies from mining tweets for surveillance.
Yeah. Data privacy issues. I think Twitter feels that its users should have the freedom to troll Kardashians without government interference, I suppose. But it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting where the line is. And it's moving all the time with regard to personal freedoms and security that is being provided to you by your nation. And there are vastly different ideas of where the line is and what's appropriate. It's a whole huge ball of wax that I think we should get into on a different day when we've got more time. But very interesting. Twitter blocking U.S. intelligence agencies from mining tweets for surveillance. Go figure. What else?
The woman in charge of building Trump Tower says she'll endorse Hillary.
Oh, well. That should fix Trump's attitude toward women in the eyes of voters. There you go.
Donald Trump has put Chris Christie in charge of putting together his White House transition team.
Yeah, I saw that. Not sure about the rest of the team, but you just know that he would freaking nail the selection of the White House pastry chef. That'd be no problem.
Real classy. Why don't we just go to the story?
Go on.
Kim Jong-un says North Korea will not use nuclear weapons unless they're invaded.
Right, and he once shot 18 consecutive holes in one, so we'd be crazy not to believe him. Good stuff. Glad to hear it. Move on.
News about scientists. Again,
Yeah.
Scientists say that Labradors are more likely to become obese than other breeds.
Yeah. Well, they're not called chocolate labs for nothing. You ever had a problem with your dogs getting overweight, Funkhauser?
No, not really. I mean, what do? Feed them chicken? No, I feed them regular food. They don't get fat. I've had some fat cat roommate friends, though.
Yeah, I've never had that problem where a dog that I had got fat. And I make my own dog food, especially for the older ones. I will make chicken. I'll boil chicken or grill it and chop it up and mix it up with rice and veggies, and they're good to go. But I've never once had a dog get fat, but I've also never had a Labrador Retriever, so that might be some of it. Go on.
A German company bought Krispy Kreme for $1.30 or $1.35 billion, not $1.35.
Can you when you say billion, could you say it like Dr. Evil, like billion? I think it makes more sense.
Dr. Evil or Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump goes billion. And
No,
Dr. Evil
I'd rather
goes
go Dr. Evil.
billion.
$1.35 billion. Yeah. Bought Krispy Kreme for $1.35 billion. Freaking donuts, $1.35 billion. Biggest transaction involving Krispy Kreme since I got my order this morning. Oink, oink. My good man. I've been stress eating like you wouldn't believe. Oh, I like waddling and sweating. Go on.
Well, this is scary and sad and all the things.
Yeah.
Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne is split up.
Yep. Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. And here's the thing, like, it's
Can't
crazy
find
to me
Ozzy right now. He's lost.
No, he got found. He was
did?
found. Like, yeah, his son was really concerned that he was missing, and I think other members of his family as well. They split up. He was living in a hotel, then he disappeared, and then he showed up in the middle of the street and said, hey, well, he didn't show up in the middle of the street, but he was spotted, and there were people that are worried that maybe his sobriety was at risk, and he was like, no, completely sober, so there you go. But Sharon, I guess, kicked him out because he was reportedly having an affair with a 45-year-old celebrity hairstylist. There's pictures we can tweet. We'll tweet out a picture, and you decide. You decide. Is it worth it? Bailing on Sharon Osbourne for a hairstylist, or was Ozzy really cheating, or maybe Sharon was just being paranoid? Boo, boo, boo. But here's the thing: I don't understand it because, like, all right. I think they have, well, I guess not anymore, but they had an open relationship for a really long time. I remember once Sharon Osbourne telling a story of, like, Ozzy Osbourne is apparently really, really into Japanese women, or Asian women in general, has a bit of a thing. And Sharon said that she came to visit him in Japan. He was out of it because he's Ozzy. He forgot she was coming to visit, and she walked in on him with an Asian woman, and she was miffed, not because it was news to her that he did this sort of thing, but because, like, Ozzy, not while I'm coming to visit you. Where your manners? And, like, I think it was also pretty well documented that, you know, Randy Rhoads, the guitar player that passed away in the plane crash, that Ozzy made the whole tribute album about. Well, Randy and Sharon apparently had a bit of a thing, and Ozzy knew, and it was like this whole big sort of like stressful thing they talked about years later, whereas like Ozzy lost his best friend, she lost her boyfriend at the time, and then they had all those sort of like, hey, you were kind of sort of like seeing him behind my back things. And anyways, it just seems crazy to me that a family that's had an open relationship, Ozzy's tried to kill Sharon at one point. He got blind drunk, tried to kill her, wound up in rehab, sorted things out in the end. And it seems crazy to me that the straw that would break the camel's back of the Osbourne relationship would be a 45-year-old hairdresser. Makes no sense. And, well, I really hope they work things out.
What would Lift tell Theo to do? Man, sometimes it's just so hard to be a good person, to lift yourself up and try to be that better version.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a party better than me.
Alrighty then, let's roll through what remains of the news, and then we're going to talk about why I think it is incredibly important that you vote this year. Even if you feel as though your needs are not represented by the potential candidates we're looking at, it is incredibly important that you get out there.
You want us to vote for people we don't like?
Stay with me on this one. Stay with me on this one.
Okay.
A lot of people seem to have misread this one. Scott Briscoe on Twitter said, are you trying media fear porn today? People need to grow up and look at their candidate and vote. Love your show, but will not allow fear porn. Not entirely sure what fear porn is, but stay with me on this one, Scott. I believe that you will like the resolution that we get to. Roy Shelton said, give it a few weeks. Sharon will be back on the crazy train. I think so, too. I think they're going to work it out. It's like, for those of us in the rock community, it's sort of like your parents getting divorced. It's a weird one. The idea of Sharon and Ozzy not being able to work things out. Cool. Like we were saying before we went to break, Ozzy Osbourne got blind drunk once, I think in the 80s. Out of his mind, stinking drunk. He'd been sober for a long time, and I think somebody delivered a case of vodka to his house as a gift, not realizing that he was off or on the, I don't know, which is it? On the wagon, off the wagon? I think we're all okay as long as Ozzy isn't driving the wagon. But he'd been sober for a while, and he just went crazy, got drunk out of his mind, blacked out, didn't remember anything. But when he woke up, he was in jail or in a secure rehab facility, and Sharon was like, hey, so you tried to kill me in a blind, drunken, blacked out, alcoholic rage. And he went for treatment and he got himself figured out, and they patched things up. So I find it very difficult to believe that a moderately attractive 45-year-old hairstylist to the stars is going to be the straw that breaks the back of the Osborne relationship. So
I'm sad. I hope it's not over.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, what else, Funkhauser?
David Letterman and Jon Stewart performed Thursday night at the USO's 75th birthday party.
Yeah, they did. David Letterman, Jon Stewart on stage together. Everyone in the audience was like really enjoying the celebration as well, until Stephen Colbert and Trevor Noah took over, and then it was still good, but just not as good. Not what you wanted. Continue.
KFC is launching an edible nail polish in Hong Kong.
Yeah. They were going to launch it in the U.S., but...
Sorry, subtitle this news business.
They're launching this edible nail polish. It's supposed to make your fingers taste finger licking good, and I think they're going to do it in the U.S., but, all of our fingers already taste like chicken because America. It's weird, though, if this nail polish is edible, you know how, like, people that have a bad problem with not biting their nails, they get that clear polish that tastes awful? And it's supposed to... Oh, you really? You got a problem with that?
Oh, yeah. It doesn't work.
Have you ever used that stuff that supposedly tastes disgusting that dissuades you from chewing your nails?
Yeah, and then you start liking the taste.
Oh, really?
It doesn't work.
Very interesting.
When I was younger,
I bite my nails, but I bite my nails in more of a cosmetic sort of way. Like, I've actually showed my nails to manicurists before, and they're like, "Oh, you have nice nails. Do you get them done?" I'm like, "Nope, bite them, bite the nails, bite the cuticles." I've got it raised to an art form, and I do it not out of nervousness, but because I can't be bothered to go get the nail clipper, which sounds gross, probably because it is, but nevertheless, I'm letting you into my world. Let's move right along.
China has banned women from sexily eating bananas.
Yeah.
Sexily?
Yeah. Well, no. Okay. All right. So, you ever you ever seen Asian pornography?
Let me think about that. Maybe. Yeah. I think so.
I'll never forget when I was in a band. I get this call, and I guess our music had been licensed to a bunch of Japanese television shows. We hadn't been there, but I get this call that, hey, there's this Japanese band, and they would like it if you would come to Tokyo and record on their album. Like, you get 16 bars of a guest rap. And I was like, sure, I've never been to Japan before. Fly me over. This sounds like good times to me. And I got a really distorted picture of what my band's popularity was in Japan, because to folks in Japan, the appropriate level of fandom, no matter what a band's status is, no matter how many records they've sold, is Beatlemania. So fans met me at the airport when I'm going to get into, and I was gifted with all this stuff. Like, I was given all these gifts by Japanese fans, and I was like, I must be a big deal here. And they were like, not really. We just like you. We thought it'd be cool to have you on. Your music has been used in like 3 TV shows, and that's it. That's sort of par for the course. That level of fandom is just what you do the moment you release a record. You have dedicated fans meeting you at the airport, and they will forget about you tomorrow if you don't have another record. I was like, oh, well, thanks for bursting my fantasy bubble, but let's see what I got as a gift here. I'm going through the stuff, and I was like, oh, here are some naughty DVDs of the Asian Persuasion. Let's pop one of these in when we get to the hotel, shall we? And all of it's dot matrixed out, like the good stuff. The area of destruction is pixelated in this. And I remember asking the Japanese band about it. I was like, I got this. Is this like a joke? They're like, no, man, that's what pornography is here. And I don't know if it's that way in China, too, but what's very interesting is they said it leads to a certain type of repression that's why you get sort of like, I guess, some sort of more unusual anime adult entertainment out there is because, you're not allowed to see the good stuff in real life, but in cartoon form, it's legal, or at least it was. And so there's all these sort of like substitutes for normal, red-blooded, guy-on-girl American adult entertainment that you can see on any number of websites here. It's not allowed in parts of Asia. So what happens is you get sort of like I said, weird surrogate substitutes for erotica, one of which has been women live streaming themselves sexually eating bananas. And that's been banned now in China. And I think, here's the thing. Sounds funny, and it is. A lot of the females that were doing this were allegedly underage. So I kind of sort of get it. It's opening up a whole big, ugly can of worms that you just want to avoid. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the harm in women suggestively eating bananas if they're at least 18 years old, but go figure. Which means the number of reasons to visit China is now officially down to 0. Thank you so much for hanging out. At ADSXE or at Funk FM is where you can weigh in.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So, Funkhauser, you and I started off the show by talking about whether or not you have ever lost control of your bodily functions out of fear. And the answer was what?
Me? Never. Come on, man.
Never.
Not me.
Never. Like, I've been scared out of my mind on numerous occasions, but not once have...
Sorry.
I've been scared out of my mind on numerous occasions. Not once have I ever sort of, like we were saying earlier, flooded my own basement. That's never been a thing. I hear, though, all right, here's the thing. I hear that when you go into fight or flight, when you get that adrenaline surge, and you're in some sort of fight or flight situation, what happens is all the blood is pulled away from, it's pulled in. That's why you go pale, is because your blood is being summoned to vital organs and vital places around your body. When you get scared, you go pale because the blood moves to places where your body thinks it's going to be more necessary in an emergency situation. And you get this massive surge of adrenaline. This is why you hear about moms being able to lift heavy objects to help their babies, because they get this huge hit of adrenaline. And then what happens is, if you don't go into fight or flight, when your body kind of like releases and you go, a lot of the time you do have to use the little boy or little girl's room very, very quickly. So that might be the situation, but it's never once happened to me. Here's the thing. I've never ridden a zip line in Las Vegas before. There's a zip line near the Strip in Vegas called Slotzilla. You ever been there, Funkhauser? You seem to go to Vegas like every other weekend for some. Slotzilla.
Watch your mouth. No, I have not.
It's 117 feet high. It's almost a third of a mile long. And a bunch of people were walking under it the other day. A bunch of people were walking underneath this zip line, Slotzilla. There's, that Fremont Street experience. You've been there, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know the zip line well. Yeah, I see people fly over it all the time. Like, I hope they don't lose their lunch.
Yeah. Have you ever ziplined?
No.
Have you ever been underneath someone as they were ziplining and thought maybe you noticed something?
No, I just hope that I don't notice something when I see them fly over me.
So what happened was a couple of people underneath the zip line thought, seems to be raining. But wait a second, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why? Because there's a huge roof over the whole experience. It's very much indoors. And it turned out it was actually a 15-year-old kid on the zip line urinating on them as he went by. Now, still not entirely clear if it happened because he was scared or if he did it on purpose, but his parents had to apologize to a bunch of people who got urinated on. And if it turns out that it was a prank, he might face charges. Very difficult to prove. Like, I was scared. No, you weren't. You did this on purpose. I guess if he unzipped, it might be a little bit more obvious whether or not he did this on purpose, but that's a great story. The real story came when a news anchor in Houston reported on it the other day. I said the real news came when a news anchor in Houston reported on it the other day. Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Can we fake it?
No, we can't. I've got it. It's
Maybe you need to put it in the microwave for a minute here. Hold on. There you go. Heat that thing up. Get nice and ready. You just go ahead and tell me when that thing looks good.
It's not good yet.
Yeah, put it on for 30 and see what happens here.
Oh, I'm going to go with the recommended settings on Windows Media Player.
Oh,
Far be it from me to think outside the box.
Uh-oh.
Oh, come on, man.
And it might overcook here.
Good. We're importing the media library now.
Oh,
again,
wonderful.
syndicated radio out of a major market. No need to. Unfreaking believable. Unreal. We have to play it now, right? There's no getting around it.
Well, I don't know. Everything's going wild now. What's happening?
Oh, my God.
Sorry, this has actually never happened to me.
Oh, maybe Anderson Cooper.
On YouTube and
Oh, God.
All right.
No, it wasn't rain that
here we go.
on people under a zip line.
Here we go.
Well, no, it wasn't rain that fell down on people under a zip line in Las Vegas. It was urine.
Ooh.
A teen rider on the Slotzilla at the city's Freedman Street Experience, let himself go.
Yellow rain, yellow.
I can't take you today. Tourists below thought it was drinks or maybe beer at first, but then they realized it wasn't. It was urine. The teen's parents later apologized for the nasty stunt. No word yet on if that teen will face any charges, though.
Wrong Prince song.
Well, after all the buildup, that was an anticlimactic mess that I wish we'd never gotten into in the first place. Oh. Okay. What? No, I don't want to. Seriously, what the hell? I am ready to go Michael Douglas falling down on this entire operation. All right, I'll peel back the curtains a little bit. on engineering staff and radio. I've been getting here at the ass crack of dawn. Like, I've been waking up at sort of like 2-ish in the morning to cover for the morning show in Houston on the Buzz, where I usually do afternoons. I have been, as the Beastie Boys say, because I wake up before I usually go to sleep, I've been waking up before I get to sleep so I can rock that party 8 days a week.
Whoa,
and
man.
Yeah, see what I did there? Now, here's what's fun about that. When you get in at 2 o'clock in the morning and everything is broken, as it often is, and there's no engineer in the building. There's nobody you can run down the hall and get. So I go, all right, fine. Let me just call this guy. He's not going to be happy that I'm waking him up. Call, no answer. Text, no answer. Completely and utterly hung out to dry. But look, he's not awake. I get it. He's in the land of Nod, and that's okay. Run into the head engineer in the hall a little later on in the day. I was like, how's it going? He was like, how are you? I understand you had some technical difficulties earlier. I was like, yeah, I did. But I called this dude, and I guess he was asleep because he didn't get back to me, and that's understandable that he was asleep. He's like, oh, I know you called him. Because I now have to pay him overtime because you called him. I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I got to pay him overtime. I was like, I don't get it. He didn't call me back. He didn't fix squat. Why are you paying him? He's like, well, because you called him. I was like, but he didn't respond. He didn't even grace me with any hint of the fact that he was vaguely aware that there was, technically speaking, a world ending in the land of major market radio while he was snoozing away. Are you telling me that he woke up, saw it, ignored it, went back to bed, and for that you have to pay him? And he was like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, I want one of your jobs. I want to be able to come in and ignore what my job description is and get paid OT for it. Would that be possible? No? Oh, okay. Should have studied math harder growing up. Anyways, I think I'm done ranting about the computer now.
Are you sure? Because you just set off the alarm.
All right.
That would be more overtime, sir.
So, Huckabee went on the record saying, leave the GOP if you're not going to support Trump. He was speaking on Fox. Huckabee took shots at the Bushes and Mitt Romney for refusing to endorse or back Donald Trump. Huckabee said he's outraged about it because they ought to step up and support the nominee. If they won't, then they need to get out of the Republican Party and admit that they are no longer Republican, that they are something else. He said, you're either one of the team or you're not on the team. When Trump loses in November, don't blame us because you told us to beat it. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people who feel like Election Day this time is a great opportunity to straighten up their sock drawer, clip their toenails, or maybe go fishing. People who feel like they are not represented by a candidate. And if that's you, if you truly feel as though, let's just for the sake of an argument, assume that your choices are Trump or Clinton. If you feel like you're not being spoken for, if you feel truly dissatisfied, and I get what Huckabee's saying, I really do, but at the same time, we are a nation founded on the idea of individual liberty. And it's strange because the idea of the individual isn't really celebrated a lot. It is in theory, in practice, not so much. In practice, they want you to be a joiner. Look at the number of primaries where you got to be registered as something to have your vote counted. But what if you don't feel like the person who you're registered to back speaks to your values? What if you feel like you don't like your option? What if, heaven freaking forbid, you find somebody that is not a registered Republican or not a registered Democrat who is not running on a particular ticket that really speaks to you? Should your voice then not be heard? And that's why it's important. That is why it is important that people who feel as though they're not represented in this election vote, not stay home, not go fishing, not clip their toenails, not reorganize their sock drawer. Because, and I'm not saying you do, but if you feel let down by your choice of candidate, now is the time to have your vote counted for the future. Now is the time to stand up and say, hey, I don't necessarily fit into one of these boxes, but I still count as a human being. Now is the time to have your voice heard. You're not throwing away your vote. You are letting people know if you vote none of the above, if you pick another candidate, if you go with a libertarian, if you go with anything else besides the two options that have been provided to you, there has never been a more important election cycle for you to speak up, and speak up by pulling the lever of democracy and pulling the lever of individual liberty and freedom. Maybe you love these candidates. I know a lot of people that do, and that's cool and that's great. But I also know more people than ever before who feel as though their version of America is not being represented by who might be inhabiting the White House come 2017. And it is so important that you have your voice heard. That people who are not satisfied speak with the strength of their convictions. This time out, it's not a wasted vote if you feel truly opposed to the options. Look, if you can find some sort of solidarity with one of the candidates, then great. If you feel like your best interest, if you feel like America's best interest, if you feel like your children's best interests are being represented by one of these candidates, then absolutely go for it. Great. If you want to vote in a way that prevents the other person from getting elected, fantastic. But if you're one of those people that were thinking of staying home, thinking that your vote doesn't count, I'm here to tell you that it absolutely does this time out. Have your voice heard this election season and vote. One way, another way, or possibly even a third way. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being a part of our radio family. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk to the guy from Cage the Elephant. We'll do this all over again. Later.